And then after Lemoore, I paid Susie back with, we got orders down to El Toro first, before Marine Squadron before they closed it, and then down to Miramar after they closed El Toro. And then I flew Hornets out of Fort Worth for about 5 years. But when I was down in Miramar, I was an instructor pilot in the F-18. And, I was a maintenance officer too. I got to do functional check flights. So whenever they did maintenance on a jet, a guy like me had to fly it before we gave it to the students to fly. So
is that a good deal job?
Oh my God,
it
man.
is, right?
You're about to find out how good it is.
Like a good deal job.
So they're like, "Hey, Whiz, what are you doing, man?" I'm like, "Nothing." They're like, "Hey, we need an acceptance flight on a new Hornet." So an acceptance flight, it literally just came from St. Louis, man. They just made this Hornet, brand new Lot 20.
Does it smell new in there?
Oh my God!
Is it like better than a new car? Well, I mean,
no grease, no hide fluid, no oil leaks. This thing.
I can't even imagine that.
Oh my God,
if a new car
man.
smell does something to you, what does a new jet smell?
So they're like, "Can you do an acceptance flight?" Which it literally had, I think, 2 hours on the jet from like St. Louis to Miramar. So I walk out from, I'm all dressed. This should have been in the movie Top Gun. I'm walking out to the airplane. And all the other jets, Marine jet, Hornets are leaking. They're like this. They look like death. And this thing, it's like God put a little ding, like glint off the canopy.
Right.
No drop
There's
tank.
There's theme music playing.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm like, I have my own band behind me.
Literally the Top Gun.
Oh, yeah. So no drop tank on it, no pylon. So it's what we call slick. Mm-hmm. It's clean, man. This thing, it's fast sitting there. So yeah, I get in the cockpit.
Sitting there fast.
I'm just breezing this thing in, man. So I get out on the runway, and I, full afterburner, and I'm like out of the airplane already. I'm hanging on to the back of the plane because it is hauling ass down the runway. So I get airborne out of Miramar, get off of San Diego about 40 miles, and it takes all of 7.2 minutes to figure out that this jet's perfect. And then a lieutenant with extra gas happens. So the book says, 50,000 feet is the service ceiling. And I'm like, let's go test that out, man. Full afterburner, push the nose over in the mid-20s, go supersonic, and I'm hauling ass. So I just start climbing up, man. And I'm accelerating going up.
Because you can't go straight up, right? You got to...
Yeah, a little bit, about 45 degree, 60 degrry climb. And I'm accelerating going up. I'm like, oh, this is... The altimeter, it's like Bugs Bunny, man. It's just spinning, 30, 35,000 feet, 40, and I'm still zipping. And I go through 50,000 feet, man. And I'm like, all right, didn't hit my head, so let's just keep going. And I get up to about 61,000 feet. And it's black and blue.
Oh my
Curvature of the earth and black. And I'm like, oh, you can hear angels and stuff.
That is awesome.
I'm like, wow. I didn't have too much time to enjoy it because all of a sudden it's like,
So it does do that?
Oh, God, yeah. The engines, no air. So the engines were like...
That sucker started hacking on you?
Oh, the engines were hacking. Yeah, they were like, come on, Whiz. Let's go.
So there's no breath hold manual on that thing? You hit breath hold, go up for a little bit, and come back down?
And I'm so naive to this. Are you hooked up to oxygen?
Oh, God, yeah. So you're really not allowed up there unless you're in a pressure suit. Because if there was like a pinhole in the canopy seal, I would have like liquefied.
Yeah, but you're a lieutenant. They can take that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's why they do
I was there.
That's right.
Okay.
So the engines are coughing. I'm like, oh, shit, I got my altitude record. Let's go for speed.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm hauling ass.
You got comms going?
Oh, I'm not talking to anybody, baby.
I know, but are they talking to you? Because
oh, man. Nobody can talk to me. I'm talking to God.
Well, that's what I thought. I was just curious as to when that. All right, cool.
So, but I'm hauling ass, but there's no air up there, so it's sluggish. So I'm like, all right, let me roll over. So I go full stick, and normally down at altitude, you go full stick. I mean, you'll break your neck.
So what's that like driving with no power steering?
Exactly.
Right.
I was like in a tub. I was moving
check.
the stick around. The jet's just doing this.
All right.
So I go full stick, and it just kind of rolls. And I'll never forget this, man. Beautiful. Not a cloud in the sky, right? Blue, black, but blue, straight down at the Pacific. And I'm leaving the afterburners engaged. I am going the speed of everything, man. And I'm hauling ass. So the last thing I see.
What's that feel like?
Dude, it's insane.
It's straight down, right?
90 degrees nose low, man.
Do you have butterflies in your stomach? Or are you
push to the back of the
feeling
seat?
You don't have time to think.
Did all your
If you
wrinkles
think, you're dead.
You think you're dead. All your wrinkles went away. You came
Hashtag Maverick.
If you want to come back looking 20 years younger, do this, right?
Oh my God, dude, if I did this again, oh no. This is 27, 28-year-old stupid lieutenant. So I am hauling ass. And I was a political science major, right? So in the mid-20s.
That probably came off good, right?
Yeah, in the mid-20s, I'm like, dude, you should probably start pulling out of this dive because, you're hauling ass. So I saw Mach 1.7, which, I don't know, 1,300 miles an hour, 1,400 miles an hour.
Gosh.
So I pulled the throttles to idle, and I'm going so fast that reduction, it's like I hit a wall. I'm like hanging forward in the straps. And that really got my attention. Now the butterflies are like hawks. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
They ain't butterflies anymore. They're
like bubble
There's
guts.
literally a bald eagle in my stomach.
I believe that's a bald eagle in my stomach. America. So
Right?
now I'm doing math. And I go, oh shit.
See, that's where it had been over for me. When they were like, hey, I got to start crunching some gimbals, I'd have radioed in. I'd be like, roger that. Hey, we're not going to make it.
There was math involved in this. I'm done. So
Shit. You know what I'm talking about?
So I put the stick in my lap, right? I pull back. But in the Hornet, you're a voting member, right? So when you do this, the flight control computers go, all right, Whiz wants to do this, but if he does that, we're going to disintegrate. And we don't want to disintegrate. So I pull this and the jet gives me a little bit. I'm like, oh man. So it's just giving me a little bit of pull and I am hauling ass still downrange. And I'm like, quick political science, New Jersey guy math. I'm like, I'm going to hit the Pacific. And I can't eject. I'm literally, if I ejected at that speed, I'd vaporize. You're just gone, right? That's why we wear our dog tags in our boots, because in most aviation mishaps, the only thing that's what they find are your boots. So I'm like, well, can't eject. And I'm screaming downhill, stick in my lap. And I was at absolute peace, right? I was calm. I'm thinking of Susie and all sorts of stuff. No offense to Susie, but I'm like, the worst thing I was thinking about is I'm like, those son of a bitches are going to be the officers club later making fun of me. Like, Whiz flew right into the ocean going Mach whatever.
God.
Great story, though.
So I'm hauling ass. And I'm like, what it's going to feel like when I hit the water. Am I going to know? So I'm processing all this stuff. And now I'm getting into the teens and the air's thicker. So now the jet's starting to bite. Now the flight control computers are like, all right, we can give you more. And I'm like, oh, come on.
So what are you moving at? 100 feet?
I think like 40,000 feet per minute down, I think it was at one point. I mean, it was insane. So I'm like a cotton ball at this point, like with the nose pointed up, but my vector just going straight down. I'm sticking the lap and I'm like, oh, shit. Got like my lucky strike out. I'm like, come on, baby.
What's your Victor?
Exactly. So I come down and no kidding, man, rated, 50, 100 feet that I felt, all I felt was like water. And then I start climbing away. And, we have like 2 mirrors up here and I see a rooster tail behind the jet. And I climb on out, and I'm like, woo! Meant to do that.
This is the Team Never Quit podcast. So buckle up, Buttercup.